What I want to talk about is the 25 V2 Pangale and the 25 V2 Street Fighter. I've been seeing a lot of videos of people posting these bikes and they have the specs of the previous year models. Man, so I decided to make this video just to kind of put out there that it's a different engine in that bike. You know, those are things that it seems like salesmen aren't telling people, because like, how are you gonna get a bike, make customizations to that bike, make a video, and then upload it onto YouTube with the specs of previous years? So that's what I was like, man, that's crazy to me. About almost a month ago when I got this bike, our local Ducati partner was like, hey, we've got like a riding demo and you guys can come ride the new Pangale V2. And I was like, sweet. I wanted to get a Street Fighter V2, so this will be perfect for me to see what it's like, see what the power's like and all that stuff. And I went to the Ducati partner and I got the bike, or I test rode the bike. My bad, I seen a cop, so I was checking my mirrors and stuff, see if he turned around. He didn't, it looks like. But anyways, I test rode the Pangale V2, and me having a Ducati Monster, I was like, whoa. My Ducati Monster just seemed like it had so much more power than that bike in the lower gears. And I was just like, no way. But they also had the Ducati Street Fighter V2, and plus I wanted to get a V2 anyways, or a Street Fighter anyways, so I test rode the Ducati Street Fighter V2 2024, and I was like, my god, like this is exactly what I want. So much more power, and it's noticeable. I guess the big difference with the 25 is that it's a lot lighter, you know, like, and that's cool. I guess they made some upgrades with the exhaust as well, but I also don't like how the exhaust looks on that bike. I love the single-sided swing arm in the 2024 V2 Street Fighter, Pangale, both of them. And those are just the biggest turnoffs to me, is that it's got a 890cc motor, it no longer has a Superquadro, and it's got the exhaust that I think is extremely ugly. I mean, that's a preference thing. I believe that, and that's why I got the 24 Street Fighter opposed to getting the brand new 25 V2 Street Fighter. It was just, in my opinion, a whole different type. And when I looked it up on the internet, it stated that they're trying to widen the gap between the V4 and the V2. So for me, I'm not in the market of getting a bike that they're trying to make a lesser bike intentionally, and that's what they're putting out there, you know, especially if they're not putting out lesser bike prices. You know, if they're putting out lesser bike prices, I would consider it if I didn't already have a Ducati Monster, which puts out 114 horsepower, and the new V2 puts out 120 horsepower. So that's just the thing for me. Like, I'm not trying to get a second bike that's very similar to the bike I already have, because like the Monster is a lot more nimble on the corners, although it's a lot more twerkier than the V2, in my opinion. Pangale and the Street Fighter, I don't know if they have that set up a little bit more differently. I actually didn't ride the Street Fighter V2 25, so who knows about that one. But I'm just making this video so people know that, hey, there is a difference between 2024 Street Fighter V2 Pangale V2 and the 2025 V2 Street Fighter and Pangale. And that difference is about 30 horsepower and about 75-80 cc. It's a smaller engine, you know. And if you want a bike, and there's nothing against the 2025 V2, I think that's an amazing bike, especially because it's still all you need when you're on the street riding. If you don't plan on like opening up your bike and doing some crazy fucking street pulls, like you can get up to like 180 miles per hour on this bike, you know. And if you don't plan on going 180 miles per hour, which a lot of people don't, you know, like it's far from legal, far from street legal, you know. So there's nothing knocking it, because even with my Monster, it's all you need for a motorcycle. I would even go as far as saying it's a friendly beginner motorcycle that can keep up with any group you're really racing in, unless you're riding with some people who are just always going like 160 and up. Like that, those are the only people that are going to leave you, and I'm not trying to be riding around the street with people like that anyway. So this is just so you guys know, because I've seen a ton of people making content and they're putting out specs for a bike that's specs for the bike that's not the bike that they have. You know, it's a different bike, literally the same name, newer model, but they geared it down, man, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's still a good bike, still a quick bike, but if you're used to riding the 21 through 24 V2s and even the 10.98s and those bikes, like, you're gonna be used to more power on the front end, more torque. I definitely noticed a lag instantly from riding the Pangale V2 from riding my Monster. Like, I was like, whoa, like, I didn't even really. And if you get into the later gears, later RPMs, that all changes. But I feel like if you're riding on the street, like, which most of the people got that bike because it's more street friendlier, you know, and that's where that lag is to me, and it's because I'm used to a more twerkier bike. And it's also to say that you can't get that bike and then set up the gearings, you know, and the sprockets to where, like, it's a little bit more fun in those lower gears. You can do that with any bike. And if you're willing to make adjustments for a full exhaust, you 100% should be able to pull out some adjustments for how your gearing set up to make it a little bit more fun and enjoyable for you to ride, you know, because it's a lot cheaper than putting a full or even a slip-on exhaust, you know. These things are expensive. Like, every part of them is expensive and nothing to play with, you know. But that's what this video was about. It was just about people being aware that the new 2025 V2 and V2 Pangale and Street Fighter are a smaller engine bike. You know, it's not the same bike as everybody else has, or the previous years. Not everybody else. Sometimes I get in ramble mode when I'm riding, because this bike is so fun, man. I love this bike. It's a blast to ride. Thanks for watching, guys.